Hey guys, welcome back to Tipharot. It's me Matt here, and today I want to talk about something that I haven't really addressed enough on this channel, and that is the fact that everyone is different. So I want to start with a little bit of a story. So I actually started this channel back in November 2015. I had a goal of creating a self-development channel because I enjoy teaching and I wanted to teach about something that I feel passionate about, which is self-development, improving yourself in various ways. Now, one of the tools that I found helpful for me in my self-development path has been lucid dreaming. So the first video that I made on this channel was a lucid dreaming video, teaching how to lucid dream for beginners basically. And I've made lucid dreaming videos since then, and over time I started to realise a lot of you guys wanted my lucid dreaming videos. And so I started making more of them, and this channel kind of swung more in that direction. Now, this is a self-development channel. This isn't a purely lucid dreaming oriented channel, but you'll notice that most of my content is lucid dreaming focused because that's what most of you guys are here for, and that's something that I feel equipped to actually give advice on. However, it is important to realize that I am just a lucid dreamer, and I am not the final authority on lucid dreaming. You see, when I first started making these lucid dreaming videos on my channel, I was very fixed about the advice that I would give people. I knew what worked for me and I knew what didn't work for me, and so I tried to avoid advising people to do the things that never worked for me, because I didn't want people to go through the same frustration that I went through when I was trying those things and not succeeding. So I instead advised people to try the things that actually worked really well for me, things like, for example, doing mild, because mild, when I actually tried it, I actually got a lucid dream my second night of trying it. Now, I'd already lucid dreamed spontaneously before a handful of times, or a little over that, about 8 or 9 times, something like that. But I actually was able to lucid dream of my own accord the second time that I tried mild. And so I've always been a proponent of mild. I find that it is highly successful for me, and it is one of the easiest methods and the hardest method to mess up. And I still believe that for most people, this is the best choice to start out with, simply because of the fact that it's very, very hard to mess up mild and do something wrong. About the only thing that you can do wrong with mild is to actually mess up the alarm for it. And there is one other method that is similar to this, and that is reality checks, which is perhaps even more foolproof, simply for the fact that you don't even have the alarm to deal with. You just have to do the reality checks correctly and take them seriously. So those two methods are what I advise to beginners. If you've seen my How to Lucid Dream for Beginners video, if not, find that on my channel if you want to watch it. But basically, I advise people to do mild and reality checks as a beginner. And while that is good advice for most people, it's not good advice for everyone. You have to realize that lucid dreaming is a very, very individual experience. What works for one person does not necessarily work for another. And so while I can give these general guidelines on what is going to work for most people, that doesn't necessarily mean that it is going to be the best thing for you. Another personal example of this is filed, or the finger-induced lucid dream method. This is one of the methods that is absolutely horrendous for me. The success rate that I have with it is so tremendously low. I just do not like this method. It doesn't work very well for me, and I've only had limited success with it. So I'm not a big fan of it, and I don't advise it much on my channel because of that. But that is sort of a mistake on my part, because the fact is, for most people who try filed, it is actually one of the most successful methods and one of the easiest methods to do. I've simply avoided advising people to do it because it doesn't work very well for me. But the thing is, everyone is different, and I am an example of someone that filed doesn't work well for, but for most people it actually works great. So you might be someone that mild doesn't work well for, or you might be someone that wild is really, really easy for, and you get wild your first time, your first ever attempt at lucid dreaming, you try wild and you just ace it and it just comes naturally to you. Or maybe you're even one of those people who lucid dream every night anyway without doing any techniques. There are some lucky people who do that. So while I don't suggest just going off on your own right away, if this is your first night learning about lucid dreaming, or if you've only been trying for a couple of weeks, I do suggest, following the beginner advice that I've given you, or that other lucid dreaming YouTubers have given you, or wherever you've gotten your information from. I suggest, actually following along with the steps you've been given for at least a few weeks to just see if it works for you. But if it doesn't work for you, don't necessarily keep trying the same thing that hasn't been working, because the fact is, it could just be that that method isn't the one for you. Sometimes you're going to have to do something a little bit different to what we advise you. Sometimes a solution may be found by looking to someone else for advice. Now, this is why I highly encourage people who watch my videos to also go out and watch other lucid dreaming YouTubers' videos. You shouldn't just watch one person's videos on lucid dreaming, because it is such a varied subject and everyone is very, very different. So you might find that for you, The lucid dreaming induction techniques that I like to use are the ones that are the worst for you, but some other lucid dreaming YouTuber likes the same methods that work for you, and so the things that he says about them, the advice that he gives, is actually perfect for you. Or maybe you feel that my ways of doing things with dream control are just not that great and you haven't had much success with them, but you watch some other lucid dreaming YouTuber and the way that she spawns dream characters or dream objects is actually something that resonates with you and actually works. Then you can borrow from that and you can actually start to use that. And what you may find, if you're anything like me, is that you'll watch all of these different lucid dreaming YouTubers and there isn't one single person whose techniques resonate with you 100% of the time. You're going to find that one person likes the same induction techniques as you, another person likes the same dream control techniques as you and helps you in that area. So every one of the guides, mentors and instructors here on YouTube and just the general people who are talking about their experiences has something to offer, and you shouldn't exclude anyone from the picture. But on top of what people can actually offer you, sometimes you're going to find yourself in a situation where the advice that people are giving just doesn't seem to fit. And no matter whose advice you follow, you just can't find anything that really resonates with you. And you have your own ideas about how things should work. Well, sometimes it's best to trust your gut. If you have a gut feeling about some way of doing something in a dream, or some way of inducing a lucid dream in the first place, try it out. Don't be afraid to do it, just because you've never heard of anyone else doing it. After all, how do these methods get created in the first place? It happens through experimentation. So realise that your path is going to be unique to you, and what works for one person might not work for someone else. This also applies to when you're actually giving advice to other people, whether you're giving advice to a friend about lucid dreaming, or you're answering a question in the comments or something. Remember that everyone is different, and so what didn't work for you might still work great for someone else, and what does work for you might actually be a terrible technique for someone else. So that doesn't mean, don't advise people to do the things that work for you. You should. After all, it might actually be what helps them, but remember that not everyone is the same. I hope this video has been helpful and enlightening for some of you guys. If you enjoyed the video, remember to subscribe, and also if you want to support the channel on Patreon, then click the link that's on screen to find out more about that. Thank you guys for watching. Take care.